The story is this journey through this dangerous world.
Road's closed.
That has all the great things that you want in a Western. It has a shootout, which I loved. Had a draw, which I absolutely loved. It had a wagon chase. Horses, and it had all the things that I remember from my childhood when I grew up on those movies. When you shoot a Western, there are many people who deeply understand those movies.
They will voluntarily go and make a Western anywhere a Western is being made. It carries with it a great cinematic history.
No one step in front of Tom when I hand him the gun and say the gun's hot. At that point, it's go. Fire in the hole.
You're surrounded by people who want to help get it right.
And now. We've covered 3 parts of them. We've just got the one bit to go, actually.
Everything we're doing is Paul's idea. He's very specific, he's very involved. So the challenge for all of us on this movie is to get it right for him, because it's such a beautiful story.
Good evening, my name is Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd.
When you're working with your leading actor, you're sort of going on that journey together. So you're talking to each other all the time. How did that feel? Did that work?
Horse, Joanne, horse!
When you see Tom, you believe him. Which, by the way, getting on a horse is about the most difficult thing known to man. I mean, I couldn't do it.
I stacked up 2 apple boxes in my living room.
The thing that is telltale for anyone that rides a horse or is involved in Westerns or loves Westerns, they can smell a fraud right away.
What I discovered was the expertise of the horse wranglers. These people are crazy dedicated to the well-being of their animals and to the training of the people who are on them. I had sort of ridden tourist horseback rides, but I had never actually been in a saddle and became one with the animal.
Tom basically started 3 weeks before we filmed. He would drive and ride his horse every day, usually 2 hours.
Tom is a natural. He's such a study. He didn't just show up. He came in here as Captain Kidd. I defy anyone to say that Tom Hanks hasn't been in a wagon his whole life.
I wanted the journey to be a struggle for survival. And that starts when they lose the wagon.
We have this wagon crash sequence that kind of escalates. The wheel breaks, the horses run off, the wagon ends up crashing over a hill. They got to dive out. There's a million shots to get, and Paul's got a very specific idea of how it should happen.
Well, listen, we're just going to have a little gathering here. We'll just work out.
Every bit of that wagon stunt had to be thought about. What gradients could we take a horse down safely? How close to edges could you go with a horse and a cart?
There's 2 wreck wagons. It's gonna crash down the hill, and that's the end of the line for this wagon.
There are lots and lots and lots of safety issues. You can be in a world of difficulty if you're not very, very careful. Meticulous planning is what it is, and then the execution's got to be very carefully done and not against a clock. But it really works and really looks scary. The wagon chase becomes a gunfight.
I shoot, you go.
Go!
And the gunfight is on a hillside.
We were never on a stage. There's a reason it looks like we're behind a bunch of precarious rocks on the side of the hill, because that's where we shot it. We shot it very precariously behind some rocks on the side of a hill.
Cue the guys to come out of cover. Tom will see that. Then he fires off his next 2 and we carry on.
Tom in this film was never afraid to be who he was in age.
Hey, Kid! You're good for a man of years!
Help me.
He gave us a kid who was both incredibly physically capable, but also you got that his back hurt and that the physical ordeal of going up Dime Mountain fighting those guys was not one that he wanted. It was brought to him and he was going to have to do it.
It's very cinematic, but it's not glamorous. It's not a gorgeous, amazing shootout that goes on. It is dirty, skinned knees, hard luck, and that ends up just being delicious. All you have to do is be in the space. All you have to do is really skin your knees on those rocks.
God damn it!
Tom has to fight against a band of desperados and be convincing as a capable man, you know, a man with a weapon. And he is.
For me, you wouldn't do a movie about Hell's Angels and put them on Hondas. Not everybody knows what guns from 1870 should look like, but I do, and it's my job to try to make everything look from that time period. The guns are a little different than the typical Western because there's still vestiges of the Civil War in terms of firearms.
If you've lost the wagon and you're on foot, you're loading kid with more and more difficulties. The dust storm was about setting up the emotionality of it.
Johanna!
And then that's the final shredding of his character.
Johanna!
You know how you make a dust storm? You have a bunch of big fans, but they have to throw dirt into the fans. Otherwise, you can't see that there's wind there.
Johanna!
There's a limit to how long you can expose an actor to.
Sandstorm was nuts. Most guys in that position would come out of there coughing, and Tom was like, okay, what do we got next? Covered in dust, face, beard, eyes. Him and Paul would talk, bam, he's right back in there.
Dust, I'll trade that for fake rain any day, man. Rain at night, oh, that's a miserable way to shoot.
It's so incredibly emotional because you live the physicality of the journey. Whether it's a shootout in a rocky hillside or losing your wagon and have an endless walk with no water, dust storms, desperados.
Hey, Cap! Did not say I'd come for you!
And there's a sort of boyish adventure to it.
She's one of us now! And I'm taking her home!